All right, hello there, second graders. I'm going to move my picture over just a little bit so that you guys can see the picture here a little better. Maybe if I just shrink it down. There we go. So this week in our treasures reading, we are exploring the idea about being yourself. And to be yourself means that you are who you are and that the world is a better place because everybody is a little bit different. If you think about the world and how people look and the things that they like and the things they do, well, everybody's a little bit different. And that's good because if we all were good at all the same things or looked exactly alike or liked all the same things, life would be pretty boring. So we call that, of each of us being different than each other, we call that being unique. And we all have things that make us special or different from other people. So if I were to ask you what's something that makes you special or different from maybe a brother or sister, you might talk about some of your interests or some things you're really good at. For me, we've talked about that I play the drums. That makes me different because not everybody in the world plays the drums. I was also a tap dancer when I was a little girl. So those are things that are special and unique and make me different than other people. And being different and unique and special are really cool. And we really need to be able to celebrate the things that make us interesting and make us different from other people. So that's what our theme is this week. We're going to learn about a little girl later this week named Rosina and how she was different than some of the people around her and how she even went to a school that really helps just especially her because she has something very special about her. So I look forward to sharing that story with you guys. But before we hop into that on our next session, I want to go over some vocabulary words that we are going to need to know about this week, and they might give you some hints about what makes this girl Rosina so special. So I'm going to close up my book here, and I'm going to get my yellow strips out. When we get back into the classroom, you will get to see that these get posted in our classroom, and they stay up all week as we work on them. So I'm going to zoom up just a little bit so we can see that nice and clear. And I'm also going to move myself back up into the picture a little further so you can see a little bit more of me. All right, there we go, guys. Okay, here is our first word. Now, normally these two letters together would make the E sound. I'm going to put a little wiggly line because they don't follow that rule. Okay, we're going to say F for that. So we have the word deaf. The word is deaf. Can you say that? Deaf. Okay. So someone who is deaf is someone who cannot hear anything and that or can only hear just a little bit. My sister is deaf, so I use sign language to talk with her. Why is sign language important for deaf people? Why do you think it would be important for someone to have sign language if they were deaf? Well, just because someone is deaf does not mean that they don't want to be able to communicate or tell people things. So, just because someone can't hear doesn't mean that they don't want to tell you something. I have a story. When I was a little girl, my cousin, well, she still is, my cousin is deaf, but when I was a little girl, I used to have to get her mom and I'd say, would you tell Tammy this? And then her mom would sign that to Tammy, and then Tammy would sign back to her mom, and then her mom would tell me. And pretty soon we got kind of tired of that because we wanted just to be able to talk to each other. So she started to teach me sign language so that we could talk to each other. So people who are deaf, just because they can't hear, doesn't mean they don't have lots to say. All right, here's our next one. Ooh, this is a tricky one. Look closely. Ready? So this says language. Language. Language are the words or movements people use to communicate. And in America, most people speak English. But maybe you've heard of some other languages. Have you guys heard any languages? If you can just tell them to me right to my screen. Yes, so maybe Spanish or French or Russian. So depending on what country you live in, might change the language that you speak. All right, here's our next word. Now be careful, a lot of people see this and say sing, but it's not ing, it's IGN. So these two work together to say I, the long I sound. Then here's our ing. So we have sign, ing. What's the word? Signing. To use sign language is called signing. Teachers use signing to talk to deaf students. Describe a time when you saw someone signing. Maybe you were at the store or at a bank, and maybe you saw someone using their hands to talk. That's called signing. All right, friends, here's our next word. Any ideas? You can say it out loud if you know it. We have cultures, okay? Cultures. The way people live, including their ideas and their customs and traditions, are their cultures. Sometimes cultures are alike. So maybe they celebrate the same type of holidays, maybe they have the same type of traditions in their families, but often different cultures are very different, okay? So depending on where you live and the things that you believe, that's part of what makes up your culture, okay? Cultures. All right, we have two more, friends. Here we go. Anyone know that one? Go ahead and say it out loud if you do. So we have relatives. Relatives. Your relatives are the people that are in your family. Relatives get together for holidays. Some people don't have very many relatives, but some people have big families with lots and lots of people and lots of relatives, like grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles. Do you have a big family with lots of relatives, or just a little family with a few relatives? Relatives. All right, last word, friends. Sorry, it's kind of noisy in the background today. Remember, CE is like on the seal card, so you're going to hear the S sound there. Remember, that makes a long sound. All right, let's say the parts. Celebrate. Celebrate. When you celebrate, you honor a special day or event by doing something fun. I celebrate my birthday by having a party. What kind of things do you celebrate? I know that Liliana's got a birthday coming up this week to celebrate. What else do we celebrate? Anybody think of another holiday this month? In the month of October that a lot of people celebrate? You're right. Halloween is coming up. So Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, those are all things that people celebrate. All right, friends, those are our vocabulary words for this week. Remember, this week we're talking about how everyone is unique and special and different, and that's a good thing. And so I look forward to exploring more. And maybe through those vocabulary words, you already learned a little bit about what Rosina is going to be like, what's going to make her special or different. Okay. All right. You guys have a great week, and we will talk to you later.